All right, I got another one for you guys. This comes from Bounding Into Comics. Capcom takes aim at PC game modding. Says developers should be concerned over mods that are offensive to public order and morals. That title makes it out to be far worse than it actually is, but it definitely ain't great. So let's just jump in. I've got a few things to point out here and a couple of things to talk about, and let's just take a look here. In a move that's both concerning and unsurprising given the ongoing rise in anti-consumer rhetoric across nearly every industry, Capcom has officially declared their opposition to the concept of PC game modding. This all stems from a panel on anti-cheat and anti-piracy measures in PC games. The Capcom programmer that's doing the presentation is Taro Yahagi, and he raised the alarm over the fact that PC games give a high degree of freedom, but they are also free to be tampered with. He essentially jumps into this and talks about the fact that a lot of mods are indistinguishable from cheats or exploits, and especially like Capcom is very multiplayer heavy with like Street Fighter. So there is a viable concern here that if people are modding a game and trying to go online and play online multiplayer with each other, those mods could be considered cheats. It's basically impossible to tell the difference because of the nuance involved is not, you can't really detect that from a programmatic standpoint. So it's basically in a multiplayer and especially a ranked situation, I can completely understand where they're coming from, where mods are absolutely off the table. He also gets into a little bit of the anti-consumer nature of gaming in general. And he talks a bit about the idea that, he kind of scratches the surface a little bit that, these mods can actually exploit the game, where all of a sudden you can see the DLC or that's kind of what he insinuates, that things that are, behind a paywall effectively are accessible through these mods because, it's a PC. So, the models are there. You can get there from here if you know how to mod it. And I mean, that's just because, my standpoint on DLC is the same as it's always been, which is that DLC should be actual downloaded content. So a new story, a new area, a new set of features and a new chunk of the game basically is what DLC should be. It should be modular. It should not be part of the game and just unlockable. Like all these microtransactions, all these like, hey, unlock this character for, $1 or whatever. I don't take to that. I don't like that. I don't think that's necessary. I think if Capcom's going to charge you $50, $60, $70 for a game, you should get the game. You shouldn't have to pay more to unlock more of the game. That's ridiculous. And, even to the effect of you get it for free and then you unlock new features. I'm not a fan of that either. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's becoming necessary. And I think it's going to cause the console and PC gaming market to go the way of mobile, which is a very bad place, but it's effectively unavoidable if people keep putting out these free-to-play games that have all this add-on stuff that you can buy. You're going to end up in the same situation that mobile is, which is that every game has to be free-to-play, and you're making money off of ad revenue and, microtransactions, and it's just not a good way to go. I personally would rather pay $20, $30, $40, $50, $70 for a game and get the game and play it than deal with that. But I guess that's just me. And I would rather make that game and charge that money for it. That 20, 30, I can't get 50, 60, 70, but 20, 30, 40 for a game and just know that my players are playing the whole game and they get the whole thing. And maybe I put a DLC out later, like an expansion pack with more elements of that game included in it. But, it's not necessary. It's not like it's the end of the world if you don't play that expansion and that DLC doesn't get on your system. You still have the core game. It's just more of the same game in that DLC, and I think that's fair. But yeah, this does delve into that kind of middle ground of, well, we've got it in the game, but you got to pay to unlock it kind of thing, and mods can unlock it for you without having to pay for it. And they don't like that. Obviously, Capcom doesn't like that. They should just change the way they write games, but that's besides the point. The last thing he talks about is obviously the sticking point of this article, which is the idea that these mods can introduce questionable material, and they can be malicious, or they can, degrade the company's image. So, for example, this image here, obviously not a stock outfit for this game, and obviously not a stock outfit for Chun-Li, and yeah, it's a mod, but it could give the idea that, oh, Chun-Li is got this in the game, stock out of the box, and maybe people will get offended, and then they'll get pissed at Capcom, and that'll tarnish their glorious image, as Capcom has a glorious image as much as they've got, right? Which is, middling at best. But yeah, I mean, that's the other thing he delves into. And finally, just the fact that mods can break your game. They can, cause issues, and then that causes people to call into like customer support, and that adds load onto that, and then that trickles back to development and this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, I don't know. I don't believe that for a minute. I don't know anyone that has ever called Capcom customer support for their games in the last 40 years. I just don't buy it. Nobody calls support. I'm not even sure there is a support system for these games. I mean, nobody I know has ever thought to, call up Capcom and say, "Hey, this mod broke my game, man. What's going on here?" and waste the customer service rep's time, or the QA person. Yeah, so I don't buy that part, but he did delve into that as well, citing that as a reason for this to be an issue, and to engage in anti-cheat mechanisms for these mods, which is ridiculous. And so, I mean, the only viable thing, in my opinion, through this whole article that Capcom is standing on, is the idea that competitive play can't have mods. You can't put mods in competitive play in multiplayer, because it's just too much risk. You want to make sure that your competitive arena is as fair as possible, and putting mods into the mix completely eliminates that possibility for you. So I can understand it in that respect. I can even understand it in the respect of like stealing DLC or what have you. But yeah, the rest of it is just kind of ridiculous. And even the DLC is kind of ridiculous, because just design games that are not built that way. I mean, it's not that hard to stand on your principles and do the right thing. But again, these bigger studios, they look at the dollar amounts, and they see that these microtransactions, these pay-to-play things, really pay the bills, and they really keep the lights on very well. So they're not going anywhere anytime soon, and they're going to protect them by censoring your mods. So that's what I got for you guys. Hope you enjoyed the vid. Let me know what you guys think about this stance on anti-modding, anti-cheating, what have you. Do you like the idea that Capcom's going to be cracking down on this, or maybe cracking down on this, or do you want to keep your mods on your PC? Let me know in the comments. If you like the vid, give it a like. If you like these kind of videos, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you guys later.